Hi guys, this week I'm going to be making Sophia another corset. This is the one I made her just over a year ago now. She actually wore it to skydive with RedBull into the Revolve Fest last year at Coachella, which is insane. And she messaged me the other day asking if she could get a Yankees corset made. Also, this is my first time using a mic, so I'm not really sure what the sound and stuff's going to be like, but hopefully it's good. But she messaged me the other day asking if I could make her a Yankees corset. She needs it by the 18th of May, and it's currently the 5th of May. So I'm going to make it and get it shipped out express. But here is the jersey I'm going to be using. She sent this one over to me, and then I'm going to make it and ship it back to her. But I'm really excited. I think it's really cool that she reached out to me again. I think I'm also going to make her another RedBull corset and just include it in her order because I have some scraps over there that I can use. And it's good content. And I'll probably also chuck in one of my F1 sweaters because why not? But yeah, this is going to be my first job this week. It's going to be pretty simple. I think she just wants this little logo in the middle of the corset, and then I'm assuming probably white details or maybe some blue. I'm not sure, but I'm going to draft this up and then we'll get to making it. Okay, the first thing I have to do is cut out the base fabric and the interfacing, which should be pretty easy. We're obviously going to go with white because I want that to be like stark white and not have colored background. I know from her last order that she's a size 6. It used to be labeled as a size 8, but I've just recently changed my sizing. So that makes my job a lot easier, not having to figure out what size to do. Once I finish cutting up these base patterns, I'll cut out the jersey and then do the interfacing on the jersey, and then I can get to drafting. I don't think the drafting process is going to be very difficult with this one since it isn't very detailed. So hopefully it'll be really quick and I should be able to get it completed tomorrow. I watched the Miami Grand Prix this morning and Oscar Piastri won, which was incredible. Sorry to my RedBull girls. It feels kind of criminal talking about how glad I am that Piastri won when I'm making a corset for Sophia, who is an avid RedBull fan. But that is so fine. This is looking a little bit pink and I'm a bit scared to use that with the white jersey. So I'm going to get a new rollout. I don't want to make any mistakes on that. White is not forgiving at all. I've had a couple times where I've gone to iron white fabric and there's like imprints on my, this is like a, I don't know what you'd call it. This is what I iron on. It just absorbs the heat so that I can just iron on my table instead of having to get like an ironing board and stuff. But where I've ironed like cheap jerseys that are like printed and not like just a t-shirt material, sometimes the color comes off. And then when I go to iron a white fabric or something on it, sometimes the color comes out and transfers onto what I'm ironing and it's not good at all. That's why now I just iron on top of parchment paper mostly because I don't want to make any mistakes with the custom corsets. Now I'm going to cut up the jersey. This might sound really self-explanatory, but sometimes I go into autopilot and I forget simple things like this, but I need to make sure that while I'm cutting out the pattern, the stripes are in the direction that I need them to be in on the corset. And I know that sounds stupid, but sometimes I forget easy, simple things like that. The stripes on this one will obviously be vertical, and we definitely have enough space and plain fabric to do that easily, which is good because pattern jerseys like this, it's really annoying if I don't have enough fabric to work with, like blank space to work with to cut out the corset pattern, because I can't just go and get like a plain white t-shirt and use it for the base. Since it's patterned, it needs to like match the same. I always need to double check when I get to this point if I've started my TikToks, but I have, because there's been too many occasions where I've cut all of the pattern pieces out of the jerseys and then I realize I haven't started filming and it's really annoying. I'm pretty sure that's what I did last time she ordered a corset off me actually. Of course, typical. I remember when I first started making custom corsets, the act of cutting up jerseys and stuff genuinely felt like I was like stealing someone's child or something. But now I'm just so desensitized to the fact that I'm cutting up a really nice jersey that like it just doesn't really register in my head. Especially the Formula One ones, like they're expensive. I don't really like working with this kind of material. My sewing machine doesn't really enjoy it, but it'll be fine. I'll figure it out. That is one thing, like obviously I'm self-taught, so I don't understand. There's so many different types of needles and types of threads and types of equipment that you're supposed to use on different fabrics, and I've never learned any of that. So I kind of just have to go with it and figure it out myself. But occasionally I do hit a little road bump and I'm like, oh, this would be quite helpful if I actually had studied fashion. It's so nice having a new blade in my rotary cutter, because having a blunt blade in a rotary cutter is honestly the worst thing ever. Awesome, and now all the details are cut out, I'll do the base pattern and then we can get to ironing the interfacing onto it. Got to make sure the lines are completely centered. I'm not sure if she'll want ribbons on the straps or anything like that either, so I do definitely need to double check. She definitely got ribbons on the straps of her last corset, so I'm not sure if she'll want to do that again. Okay, perfect. I'm going to keep those bigger scraps just in case I do stuff something up or something gets stained. And that way I have some backup fabric to work with as well. Now that I've done that, let me have a look at what RedBull scraps I have and we can see if I can make something work. I think this is a pattern I already cut out for a size 6 corset. So let's just have a little look. I do want to try something different with this because last time she ordered a fairly simple design from me, which was really similar to a bunch of other RedBull corsets I've made. So I think it would be good if we could do something really fun. Let me just have a look at the pictures of her last corset actually. She did send me some inspo for a corset we were going to make a while ago, but we never got around to making it. So maybe I'll try and do something similar to that. Let me just have a look at what we did. Okay, I have just had a little look. The inspo she sent me was an underbust corset. I'll insert the picture actually, which I don't do. And it has a bunch of ribbons and stuff like on the sides and on the back. I'm just trying to think what I can do to switch it up a little bit. I know the drafts I sent her for her last RedBull corset had these blue stripes on it, and she didn't go for that one. She went for the plain base. She has replied to a story of a corset that I did that just had this on the center and then race stripes, and she was like, oh, that's so cute, or something like that. So maybe we could do something. I want to do something fun though. She looks really good in red and dark colors, like lots of black, red. What can I do? Maybe I'll think about this tonight and just work on the Yankees one today. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look up a bunch of inspo tonight before I rush into anything, because I want to be able to do something really fun and I haven't really thought about it yet. I do have a bunch more scraps, so if this doesn't fit what I want to do, oh, I do have some fun pieces. Yeah, so on her last corset we had the big RedBull in the red text and then the like RedBull logo, like the full one, but I do have some half little logo pieces here. Oh, here we go. Like maybe that could be fun. We could do it like coming out of the side panel here or something. I don't know, we'll have a think. Okay, I'm going to do the interfacing on this corset now, and then we can draft them up. And then I'll just wait till she replies, probably tomorrow, and then finish it, hopefully. And then hopefully I can also get that RedBull corset done tomorrow. I'm thinking maybe I could do for the RedBull corset, seeing as the one she sent me for inspo, I think it was an underbust corset, but it's also kind of looks similar to a strapless corset. So maybe I could do strapless. The only thing is, I haven't really tested strapless out before because I have a larger chest. And so I just find strapless corsets just like slide down and it's like really uncomfy. But maybe I could do spaghetti straps or something instead. We'll have a think. Okay, I'm not taking any risks today. I'm going to use new parchment paper for all of my ironing. I really don't want to stain any of this white fabric. It's literally the worst. It's so frustrating, and it always happens when I know that I should use parchment but I'm being lazy. I shouldn't do that, and I've learnt my lessons, honestly. There was one time I was working on a McLaren. This was insane. I've never had this happen again, and I don't know why it happened, but I was working on a McLaren corset, and of course I was working on the main McLaren front bit for the corset. I don't know what happened. My iron must have got too hot, and I went to iron the interfacing onto the back, and it just melted straight through the centerpiece of the corset. So I had to order a new jersey express for this poor girl, and yeah, that's why I never give anyone a concrete date that'll have their corsets done by, because sometimes things do go wrong and I would not like to give anyone false hope. Okay, I'm going to do all this ironing and then I'll come back when I'm drafting. Okay, awesome. So this is what I mean by this fabric is really annoying. I don't know if this will pick up on camera, but the stripes have just transferred onto places that I didn't want them to transfer onto, which is so awesome. That piece is fine. It's just this one. Can you see where there's like lines through here? It's so annoying. So I'm gonna have to cut out a new back pattern piece, and then I think I'm just gonna have to use a bunch of new pieces of parchment today to make sure that doesn't happen on any of the other pattern pieces as well. So annoying. I couldn't even see the stripes on here. Now I can see them here a little bit on the parchment, but yeah, that's frustrating. I've just finished doing all the interfacing, so now I just need to cut out all of these details and then do the drafting and then send the pictures of the drafts through to Sophia, and then hopefully we can finalize the design tonight, because there shouldn't be too many details that we can like change around and stuff. And then I'll come back tomorrow and make it. I'll also go home and figure out what I'm going to do with the RedBull corset tonight. Hopefully I can get these two corsets done early tomorrow. So I've just realized that for some reason I just assumed that the line in the middle of this would go straight through the middle. I don't know, in my head that just made sense. So I made it so that the center of this corset is directly in this line, which means when I cut this out and put it in the middle, this isn't going to line up. So what I'm going to do, which I think will work better anyway, because just with the way the interfacing and stuff works, is this wouldn't be identical anyway, no matter where I try and line it up. So I'm going to have to cut out the NY like completely, and then sew that on as a separate piece. I'll actually do the whole drafting process with you guys for this one, because there's not many details, so there isn't actually many variations that I can do, so it shouldn't take me too long to draft them. But first, obviously I just put the base pieces down. When I'm making the corset, I'll make sure these lines line up better, but that's okay. For now, that'll be fine. See, it's this type of thing that's going to be hard for when I'm actually making the corset. It might not actually be possible for me to make sure that these lines line up completely. I might have to redo that one because there's no way that's going to line up, but that's just a slight adjustment I can make. I didn't think that through these side panels. It's just an annoying angle and stuff, but that's okay. These two end ones are completely fine though. That's perfect. Yeah, it just looks like I'll have to redo this panel here. And then the main piece is just going in the center. Love, that looks so cool already. I'm really happy with that. I'm really glad I cut the excess off. I think it looks so much neater, and I can't believe I was going to just keep it as a box. And then the back details are what we can change. I'm not sure what label color to do. I'm thinking maybe the black and like this one here. The blue's like a little bit off, I think. I don't know. I might let her decide. That might be easier. And yeah, see, this is another thing. The stripes don't line up. Dang it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I think that's gonna have to go here so it lines up. And then I can actually trim these ones down completely so that the lines don't affect the placement of them. Okay, perfect. And then maybe I'll just put these two on here for the draft. Cute. And then my label, I might send her a draft with each color label. I don't think she'll go for that one, but that's okay. I'll just send it through anyway. I think she wanted like a really plain front, so I don't think this will be an option she'll go for. Okay, I think that's all of the drafts I'm going to do, and then she can give me some pointers on some things if she wants, because I don't really know where else to go from there. Yeah, so I'm going to send those through, find out if she wants ribbons, find out what bias tape color she wants, and the design that she picks. And then tomorrow I'll come back and try and figure these two side panels out a little bit better. And then we can get to constructing the corset and actually making it. Okay, this design has been completely confirmed. She's going to do the blue bias tape at the bottom. She wants blue ribbons on the straps, and then red on the back to look like a baseball. And then I've decided what I'm going to do for the RedBull corset. So I'm going to take inspiration from the pictures she sent me of the corset with all the laces on the sides, and I'm going to do that on this corset. I need to cut out new back panels because I don't want the stripes, because there's already going to be too much going on, I think, with the ribbon detailing on the sides. And I think I'm just going to go super simple with that in the middle, red race stripes, red ribbon on the sides. I'm going to have a little think because I might do yellow in there somewhere instead, but I'll figure that out once I'm drafting. And I'm not even sure if I'll include any of the sponsors or if I'll just put my label on the back, but we'll have to see. But yeah, I think it's going to be really fun. I don't know how it's going to turn out because I've never done this before, but I think it should work. I can't think of a reason why it wouldn't work, but I need to cut out these patterns now, interface them, and then I'll make this corset first and then get onto this one this afternoon. That shouldn't take me too long, as long as my sewing machine behaves itself, because it's not going to like that fabric. So hopefully that all goes smoothly, but we'll have to see. I've just finished cutting out new side panels so that the stripes can line up properly. It's one of those things, though, that my brain is struggling to comprehend, because it's just a little bit, I don't know, because obviously you sew it right sides up, so here it doesn't look like it's lined up, but once you get rid of the seam allowance, then it should be lined up. But my brain is struggling with that. So I'm just going to hope and pray that I've done it right and that it'll come out all lined up. And if not, I think it's just going to have to do, because I can't think of another way to make sure that it is perfectly lined up without... Yeah, I really don't know. So we're just going to have to see. I think I've done it right, but we'll find out. Let's find out together, actually. I'll do the first one so we can have a little look. Okay, I don't think this is going to be quite right. I don't think I can get it right because it's curved. So I think that's why I'm struggling with it, because it actually won't add up. Okay, yeah, see, it's close up here, but it's never going to be the same going all the way around. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I just actually can't figure it out in my head. Okay. Yeah, so that's almost perfect. I think I'm just going to leave that. I think that's as good as it's going to get. And at least this stripe disappears down the seam, so that's not too bad. Okay, that's actually better than I thought. Let's do the other side. It's just like a couple mil off on each side. Okay, I can actually make them line up if I just force it. Okay. Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay, that went better than I thought. And then the back panels aren't going to line up just because they're straight, but I don't care about that. That'll be fine. I've just sewn the channels for the boning. I actually still only use, this is my little hack. I use zip ties for my boning, and I just use a candle or a flame or whatever and melt it so that it's not sharp, so it doesn't poke through the fabric. And it works perfectly for me. I've never even bothered trying to learn how to use proper boning. I think it's expensive. I don't actually know. This just works for me, so I've just never bothered to try and find an alternative option, because don't fix what's not broken, I guess. But yeah, I just need to trim this bottom part and then do the boning, and then put the bias tape on the bottom, do the eyelets, and then I'll be done. So we're almost there. It looks so good. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And my sewing machine didn't protest while I was trying to make it as much as I thought it would, which is great. So I feel like every other time I've used this fabric, my sewing machine has just really not liked it. But I'm also using a different needle than usual because mine snapped the other day. So that's probably why. And then I just melt them, making sure, especially with corsets that are white, that I don't accidentally burn the end of the zip tie, because it'll go black and then you can see it through the fabric. So I try and just melt it so that it's like still basically clear. And then I just put the boning in and trim it, and then melt the other end as well. And I always make sure that it's not on fire, because one time I was melting the zip tie and I was sat under it like this and I didn't realize that it was on fire, and a piece of plastic dripped off onto my leg and burnt the shit out of me. It hurt so bad and I still have a scar on my leg. I had to wait until the plastic had dried and cooled down on my leg before I could pick it off. It was horrible. But now that that's done, I'm just going to sew on the bias tape on the bottom, and this is the color that she chose. Okay, cool, I do like that. I was scared that it wasn't going to be as nice as I thought it would be. The ribbons I have are a royal blue as well. Yeah, that's perfect. Awesome. Oh, actually, whilst I have the candle lit, I'll also cut out the ribbons just so I don't have to relight that. Also, I've decided I'm going to give her a spare navy ribbon in her package so that if she wants to change the back ribbon from red to navy, she can do that. And then also the same navy will work for the RedBull corset that I'm going to make her too, so she can just like switch them all out and stuff like that. So those are the ones for the straps, and this is for the back. We'll do a deep red. I have a more orangey red that I don't use very often because I think it looks cheaper. And then I just melt the ends of this, making sure that I don't set fire to it. Because otherwise it dyes them black, which is really annoying, and then I have to trim them and retry. Okay, and then with this spare back ribbon, I'll just package it up by itself, all neatly. Perfect. Okay, and now we do the bias tape at the bottom. Okay, this one's all finished. I'm going to wait to do the eyelets and stuff until I get up to the same stage on the RedBull corset, just because that'll save time doing them in like at the same time. But I'm obsessed with this. I think it's stunning, and yeah, it honestly turned out like exactly as I hoped it would, so that's amazing. And I'm really excited to start this RedBull corset. Have I told you what I'm doing? I don't know. I guess you'll find out. The first thing I'm going to do is just sew all of the base patterns together, and then we'll get to choosing the ribbon colors and the race stripe colors and stuff. I'll probably just lay it all out flat and then make a decision. There's also a couple different techniques on how to tie the ribbon on the sides that I think I'll experiment with. I'll also need to do the eyelets straight after I've made the base pattern, which is so weird. But yeah, I'm just gonna figure this out as I go, and I'll keep you updated on all the decisions and stuff that I'm making, because I feel like it'll be quite interesting to see the process and then how it turns out at the end. But hopefully it works. I'm really not sure. I've just realized that I was going to do adjustable straps on this corset, which means I just need to chop that off. I have done this a couple times on corsets before, but only ones that I've kept for myself, not ones that I've sold. So I need to remember how to do it. Also, I don't have any bias tape that's this color, which is what I use to make the straps, because it's thin enough for the clasps and stuff to slide over the bias tape. So maybe I should do red straps. I feel like that could be cool anyway. Yeah, I kind of like that actually. I feel like that's fun. And then the stripe could come from the center of the strap down, so it kind of looks like it's continuing on. That would be really cool actually. I could do one red and then that continues for the strap, and then the yellow on the inside. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm going for. I haven't done the straps yet, but I think this is the vibe. These are going to be half as thick as they are here, just because I haven't like actually sewn them yet. And then on here, I was thinking of doing like a shoelace pattern. I think what I'm going to do is go to Spotlight and get a much thinner string or ribbon or something for this section, because I think it needs to be quite a subtle detail rather than really thick ribbon on here, just because the front is already quite detailed. Hopefully where I've put you there isn't too bad. I don't think it's the best angle, but that'll be fine. I've just gone to Spotlight and I picked up 3 different types of ribbons because I wasn't sure what was going to work best. I know some of these probably aren't going to tie up, like this little, hopefully you can see that. It's like a little ropey string. You've probably seen it before. Then I have this ribbon, which is kind of like textured. It's super thin, but I think this is going to be quite coarse. And then I just have a regular normal red ribbon. We're gonna have to see. I want this one to work, but I also don't know if this is going to melt so that it doesn't fray at the end. So I'm gonna have to try, I'll just try some things out. Also, I've just realized that what I was going to do isn't gonna work. So how do I demonstrate this? Okay, I'll just do it with this ruler. I was going to have eyelets and then have it do up kind of like a shoelace, but I realized it's not going to look like a shoelace because it's going to end up, so it's not going to look like a shoelace. It's going to just have little cross details because the other details will be at the back. So I'm going to have to pivot on that. I think what I'm going to do is unpick these side panels and back panel and then put little loops here of red fabric, and then I can lace through the loops, and I think that'll be cool. These are the straps all done. They aren't perfect, like the stitching and stuff on the inside's not great, but it's fine. I still haven't fully got really good at making them yet, but I think they're pretty nice. They look good. I'm gonna start constructing this and then probably figure out what I want to do with this stuff. If none of these want to tie properly, I can just have it so that the ribbon ends instead of having bows come down the sides. But I'll just have to see what texture all of these ribbons are and stuff and see if it's going to work, because it might not be quite right. Okay, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think I'll probably be using this string. The only thing is it doesn't like tying, but I did a double knot and it kind of stays, but it just doesn't sit like a regular ribbon would. So maybe I'll try the other ones as well and just see if anything's better. I can melt the end of this string, which is good because I wasn't 100% sure it would melt or if it would just try and catch fire. So that means that I can't stop this from fraying, which is really good. But I think that looks sick. I'm actually really happy with it. Okay, I'm really happy with how this is looking. I'm going to do red bias tape at the bottom. I need to do the boning. And then I'm done. I need to lace it up too. I almost forgot about that. I think it looks really cool. And I've decided to go with this ribbon because the thin round one didn't tie. The tiny little flat one looked really, really shit. So this is going to be the one that I'm going to use. I'm so happy with how this is looking so far. I still need to put the eyelets in both of the corsets, but look how sick that is. What the hell? This is obviously not my size, but that is so cool. I'm obsessed. It looks like a shoe. I love it. Anyway, I'm going to do the eyelets now on both of them, and then I can finish my TikToks and take my pictures and all of that. But that's really cool. Okay, now that the eyelets are in, I need to put the ribbon in the straps of that one, which I'll do on camera. And then I need that phone to take pictures and content of, because I want these ones to be really good quality photos, and my other phone is an XR, so that won't cut it. But I'm so excited about this RedBull corset. That is honestly so cool. It's sick. There's one thing that's really annoying me, but I'm not going to fix it. Up here, I wish that I had put, where even is it now? Oh yeah, I wish that I had put this ribbon under the other one. Can you see that? It literally, no one else would notice that except for me, because on the other side it looks better here than here, but I can't be bothered to redo it. It was really annoying to get the ribbons through all of those little holes. So that's fine, that'll just taunt me. But yeah, I genuinely can't be bothered. So this one has blue ribbons on the straps, red ribbon on the back, and this one I'm putting red ribbon on the back of. Sophia asked me to send me pictures of the red on the back of this one, so she might be a bit iffy about it as well. But that's okay, I'll just include both in whatever she gets, and then she can pick what she prefers. I do actually think that red will look really cool, but blue might be more wearable. Okay, here is the final RedBull corset. I actually think this might be my favorite corset I've ever made, potentially. It's just so different from anything I've done. It won't show up as well in the pictures or probably even on the video, but in person, this is just so cool. I just think the concept is really, really sick. And obviously it wasn't fully my idea. I got inspiration from other places, but wow. I think it's incredible. Here is the back. Not as interesting, but I feel like there's a lot going on in the front, so we didn't really need to make the back super crazy. But yeah, I'm honestly in love with that one. And then here is the Yankees one, which is also so cool. I really like this one too. I just feel like I'm super excited about the RedBull one, so I'm not really being as enthusiastic about this one, but this one by itself is also sick. I really love this one. I think personally I would change the back ribbon to blue, but I really love this idea from Sophia. Obviously I'm not a baseball fan, but yeah, I think it was such a sick idea on her part to put the red there to make it look more like a baseball, like with the stitching around the outside. This one is really cool. She's going to look so good in both of these. I'm going to send a video to her now, but wow, I'm honestly in love. Okay, I'm just going to ship this out now, but I'm setting a size medium jumper, 2 stickers, and then obviously the little thank you card. These are my little stickers. How cute. And I'm going to put it in a medium sized mailer and then get that shipped out express. I'll take it tomorrow to the post office, hopefully in the morning, because the shipping for today has already gone out. It's actually 4:30, and I think they ship at 4:45 every afternoon. But this is our little package, and I'm so excited for her to receive it. I just sent her a video of the 2 corsets. She doesn't know I'm sending the jumper. But yeah, I think she's gonna freak over this one too.